Hey, it's your girl Asante, helping you move consciously and creatively through life. And 2020 was quite a year. While I did personally have a lot of sad moments this year, it wasn't all bad. I did a lot of self-discovery and made a lot of personal progress. And so as we reflect on this year, on this last day of 2020, I want to share some of my takeaways with you. My lessons are grouped into 4 parts. I learned about how I can manage myself better, how I can work better, how society can work better, and the value of relationships. So here are 20 life lessons I've learned in 2020. This year made me glad that I have a real independent streak and has shown that the ability to be self-sufficient is essential. I can do my own hair, I knew how to cook my own food, I did my own laundry, I had my home office already set up, although I did wind up filling it out a bit, so having to do everything in a more solitary way with quarantine wasn't too much of a shock to my system. It's really easy to become attached to the convenience of being able to buy food out or outsource different chores or maintenance tasks in your life. And those are nice luxuries that can make you more efficient, but this year has shown that at a fundamental level, you have to know how to do for yourself. A lesson that's really a theme of this channel is that self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. Especially in this disease-ridden year, it's been important to take care of your physical health, and in this very isolating year, it's been important to take care of your mental health. This year, I've had more time to consider my own life desires, what I need, and to take care of my own body rather than just rushing from appointment to appointment. And if you aren't well, if you aren't staying sane, then you won't be as able to get things done to create change, and you won't be as able to take care of the people around you. You can't pour into someone else's cup if your own cup is empty. So this year has been a reminder to put myself first on my own priorities list. I started jogging regularly this year, and jogging isn't as awful as it seems from the outside. In May, I challenged myself to jog every day for 30 days, and it went well. I made a video about it, and now I'm jogging at least 6 days a week. I used to hate running in school, but now I see that it was because I was very weak, I didn't have the stamina, I didn't have the strength, and so building up those things has been a real focus of my jogging efforts this year. And it's been surprisingly really enjoyable. Don't think you have to adopt predetermined diet systems in order to stay healthy. Experiment to find the right diet that works for you. If you follow me on Instagram, you'd have seen in my stories this year that I've been trying some new things in the kitchen. I had assumed that going vegan would be the healthiest thing for me to do, and so a couple of years ago, that's what I did, and I made a couple of videos about that I'll link in the description. But now I'm realizing that going low carb might actually be the best thing for me, especially in trying to regulate my hormones and my hormonal acne. And it's pretty difficult to be low carb and totally vegan and avoid soy products, which I want to do since I'm trying to regulate my hormones. I'm not saying you can't do all those things, but it doesn't sound tasty to me. So I've started eating eggs again. I eat chicken and fish regularly. I still do enjoy eating plant-based meals, and I'm also trying some keto recipes. My diet definitely can't be put in a box easily, but I'm starting to find a groove, so it's definitely been worth experimenting and creating my own customized diet. Now that I'm working from home, I have no one else to blame for my schedule but myself, and some of my bad habits are entirely my fault. I will say that I'm classifying these as bad habits for myself just because I wish I didn't do them, not because they're universally bad. And the one that I'll mention here is that I have a hard time winding things down in the evening and going to bed at night. And often I would blame it on having unanticipated work come up, or staying late at the office to focus, or going to a late social event that ran long and so then it threw off the rest of my week. But I don't have any of those excuses anymore, and my sleep schedule is still out of whack. It's still hard for me to regulate. I can still stay up easily past 2 a.m. if I'm not careful, and now I know that it is just me. This time has revealed what things you're doing because of pressure to keep up appearances for others, and what you're doing because of your own internal tendencies. Either way, it's easier to address when you know what the root cause is. Quarantine has definitely taught me that I need to actively make space to get out of my own head, particularly because I see myself working from home for the foreseeable future, and I'm basically alone by myself in this apartment all day. Just going a little bit out of my mind, just like a little, The first month of quarantine was very unpleasant because I tend to do a lot of rumination and reflection, which can turn into self-critique, which can turn into self-criticism, which can turn into me just gnawing at myself. So I've needed to take a breath and, one, make sure that I'm calling people more than I usually would, just so that I literally have someone else to talk to. And two, I need to do things that physically anchor me into the present moment. Meditating does that for me, exercising and dancing dancing and just feeling the physicality of my body does that for me. And eating more mindfully has done that for me as well. So this year I've been very focused on work. I feel like I'm always focused on work, but my biggest lesson this year in work has been that the tools you use can completely transform your workflow, your organization, and therefore your mental state. And for me, that transformative tool has been Notion. You knew I was gonna say it. You already knew. I'm on the Notion train. No, I am. No, I am. I have so much to say about Notion, and I will definitely be making some Notion videos in 2021, so stay tuned for that. I'm excited. But using a series of databases to store my projects and plans, and then being able to surface those databases in various views and dashboards, and being able to create templates and use nested checklists has just been like, I'm such a nerd. I have so much more mental clarity and less to worry about remembering or keeping track of, so more to come on that. Another evergreen lesson, but one that I definitely learned this year, was that I can do hard things. I had a pretty daunting project to do at work with my day job this year. I was creating a new role at a new company, building new relationships with partners, I had to hire people, but I kind of killed it, like, if I do say so myself. My boss is happy, the partners are happy, I'm really happy with the work. So like it worked. Like I had to build a whole new thing this year, and it worked. It was not easy, especially with having to adapt to new circumstances, and I feel really fortunate to have worked with great people and a great team, but we had a hard thing to do, and we did it. We can do hard things. I did not take an extended break this year, and I'm exhausted. So even if you love working like I do take some time off. I joke that when I'm not working, I'm working, which means that when I'm not at a day job, I'm doing things for this YouTube channel or for my social media presence as a whole. Case in point, I'm off for the holidays, but I'm making this video. And at my day job, I only had 1 week of vacation this year because it was my first year there. And initially I was like, you know what, not great, but I don't take a lot of time off anyway, so it'll be fine. But I really missed the time off this year, especially with my dad dying. Some holidays and days off went to bereavement, which is definitively not relaxing. And this year has taught me that you just don't know what kind of stress you're gonna be facing. So just because you're not planning to need a vacation doesn't mean you won't actually need a vacation. So from here on out, I'm gonna make sure that I leave space for unplanned break time every year. I've learned that I really love working from home. I see myself working from home for the foreseeable future. I am someone who has tended to move up under my job to minimize my commute, and now that I don't have a commute at all, I'm like, this is great. I can focus more on my health, I have way more control over my time, and honestly, I don't really want to go back. This one's for all my 9-to-5 folks. It is so impactful to your life to have an amazing boss, and it's worth making decisions because of it. With the chaos of this year and being at a new job at a new company and my dad dying, I needed quite a bit of support and quite a bit of grace. And I feel really lucky this year to have been working for someone who is really empathetic and understanding and attentive to what I need, can make suggestions, can push me, but not push too hard. My boss really puts a lot of thought into being a good manager and has a lot of experience being a manager, and it shows. It's actually something that I had a gut feeling about when I applied to the job. I was like, this role seems super nebulous and I'm not quite sure, but this person seems like someone great to build a relationship with, and I'm really interested in that. And my gut was right. So I've learned that it's worth it to heavily weigh career decisions based on who your boss is gonna be. And it's made a huge impact in my year. Some lessons about how society works. Question the social systems around you, you know, okay? I think it's just very clear with how the bottom fell out of the economy that the concentration of wealth and economic power in this country is out of control. And regardless of what you think the solution is, I'm not putting forth a particular policy solution here. We need to rethink the economic systems that we've been taking for granted because they're not working. Capitalism. And the people in power, the people who have the most visibility, have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo, so they're not going to tell you what's up. You're going to need to do your own homework, and I am doing my own homework. Speaking of things that aren't working, this year has showed me that I'm not a fan of having your healthcare tied to your employer. I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of people losing their health care when they lose their jobs in the middle of a pandemic. It's ridiculous. And this is less of a problem, but I'm someone who's been changing jobs frequently and having to get new health care every year or so based on how stingy or generous your employer is also sucks. As someone who's in their 20s who is just getting off their parents' plan and like navigating this for the first time, I'm like, how is this what we've been doing? How is this the way we do things? Like, this sucks. Like, I hate this. Again, I'm not a policy expert. I'm saying that this year has put a fine point on where the flaws in our system are, and this is one of them. Human rights movements take years of work to become mainstream. Black Lives Matter as a hashtag started in 2013. That's also when 3 Black women founded the Black Lives Matter Network. The Movement for Black Lives, which is a larger coalition, has been organizing for years. People have been talking about this for a long time, and people have been talking about civil rights and racial justice as a whole for even longer. I made a Black Lives Matter video 4 years ago, and the list of names was already long back then. I'm glad that Black Lives Matter is no longer a controversial thing to say. These things take years of activists doing the work, and they take years of people in media sharing that work, amplifying that work, talking about the problems that underlie society. And we're not all activists, but if you have a social media account, then congrats, you're a part of the media and you can lend your voice. Which brings me to my next lesson of this year, that social media outrage works. It helps to raise our collective consciousness around social issues. We've seen anti-racism become a mainstream term and concept. Systemic racism is now a part of our national dialogue. People on social are sharing their experiences about discriminatory behavior in their workplaces or oppressive work cultures and are actually affecting policies. Making certain things socially unacceptable by being loud about transgressions online is effective. It drives further conversation, which drives people to take action, which puts the political and economic pressure on, and that's the sort of pressure that can start to move the needle. And my last note about what this year has taught me about society is that so many rules are arbitrary. Exceptions have been made to so many rules this year. Business is conducted differently. Remote jobs that could never be remote are now remote. Things that could never be done are now being done. The barely there social safety net in the US is being conducted differently. There's much more flexibility in these systems than sometimes appears. And relationships. The biggest one for me this year has been that grief is gradual. I lost my dad earlier this year, which was definitely a low point, but it didn't hit me all at once. I think the sadness and remembrance comes in waves. The way that I feel about it will change. It's already changed. Initially, I was really angry about it. Now I'm having dreams where we're at family gatherings and he's there and in good spirits and everyone's laughing, and then I wake up. So I've definitely been very busy this year, and I think I'll have more time to sit with it next year, but I can feel that the grief will be gradual. I have an amazing family. I'm just so grateful for my family. That's been a huge theme for me. My mom and my sister have been my rocks this year. And even with my extended family, I'm just really grateful to be in a very loving and connected environment. Which brings me to my next lesson, that relationships are basically the most important thing to cultivate in your life. We don't talk about that enough. We talk a lot about individual success and self-help and making yourself into a better person, but you're made better by the people around you too. Success looks individual, but it's really collective. I'm standing on the shoulders of my ancestors who came before me. Every big career move that I've made has been the result of someone giving me an opportunity or seeing the potential in me. We don't make progress alone, and so it's been important, especially in this very isolating year, to put in the extra effort to maintain and build strong relationships. And lastly, I've found joy this year in taking the time to have conversations just for the sake of having conversations. Just learning about what other people do, what they think about, what their journey has been. That's a really interesting and valuable part of networking in and of itself. I was in the Online News Association's Women Leadership Accelerator this year, which is a coaching program in leadership, but it's also about bringing together talented, passionate, driven women in the same space to learn from each other. And I hadn't been in a cohort program before, but it's just been so valuable and impactful to get to share space and share conversation with these ladies. It's definitely been a highlight of my year. And those are my 20 lessons from 2020. In the comments, let me know a life lesson that you're taking away from this very eventful and tumultuous year. And thank you so much for my patrons for making this possible. With their support, I'm really looking forward to some interesting videos in 2021. Got a lot of big things planned, so stay tuned. I'm excited. And as always, remember to live spiritedly and think creatively, and I will see you next time.